Hey, Todd Martin here with The Walking Code. In this video, I want to describe some of the many mischaracterizations of walking and heel placement with walking that people who are forefoot walking proponents make all the time. I frequently will get comments on my channel where I'm going over basic walking technique, and I'll get people who will comment that heel striking is wrong all the time. People should not heel strike. Heel striking is caused by modern footwear, and it's not the normal way humans should be moving. Now that falls counter to the fact that almost every single human on this planet walks with a heel strike, but they are very convinced that heel striking is wrong and needs to be changed for people to be healthier. And so I want to go over some of the common mischaracterizations that they use to come to this conclusion. Mischaracterization 1 is that walking with a heel placement is like putting on the brakes. If you've watched any video from a forefoot walking proponent, you'll usually see them do a demonstration like this. That walking with a heel strike is like putting on the brakes. And why would you want to put on the brakes when you're walking? It is inefficient because you're stopping and starting and stopping and starting, and it's shooting up a lot of impact up through your leg and into your back and causing pain. Now, you won't see them actually walk and demonstrate how that works, but they'll always do this static position where they show this locked out knee. Now, this is a huge mischaracterization of walking, and I think you would probably recognize that if you've ever walked yourself, because I don't think anybody walks with an extended leg putting on the brakes like that. We walk like this. So when I'm walking with a heel strike, there's no braking happening. There is no stop. There is a fluid placement of the heel and roll through that we all do. As soon as the heel touches the ground, the knee flexes into that, and the ball of the foot then comes down. There is never a braking action. There's no locking of the knee. When we are stepping forward, the rear knee is actively extended. I'm going to balance myself here so you can see the natural position. My rear knee is actively extending, and then I'm going to bring my heel down by rotating the upper abs, touching the heel down. My forward knee is passive. My forward knee is not actively extending. If it was, I would be in danger of hyperextending my knee. This knee is completely passive. So as soon as the heel touches the ground and I begin to change weight, there's an immediate flexion of the knee that brings the weight forward along with the action of the core. So there is no putting on the brakes. Misconception number 2 is that the heel was not designed for impact on the ground. It makes much more sense to walk on the forefoot. Now, to me, this doesn't make a lot of logical sense because the heel, the calcaneus, is the biggest, thickest, hardest bone in the foot. And so, the calcaneus bone here is a very large bone, which is very well adapted for carrying weight and placing weight. It would seem less logical to have such a big, sturdy bone if I was going to be walking on the balls of my feet. Why would I need such a big bone there to carry my weight? So the calcaneus is a large bone there, and you're not walking on the bone. We have a very generous heel pad or fat pad on the heel underneath the calcaneus that is a good, generous cushion for that bone. So when we are placing our weight, we are not having a feeling like we're walking on a bone or a bone spur. The next common mischaracterization from forefoot walkers is that Heel strike walking is caused as a result of modern footwear. Now, I don't know what they define as modern. I don't know if they're going back to the ancient Greeks or any time we developed shoes, but this is also incorrect. You can do a simple Google search and find out that the anthropological evidence shows that humans going back millions of years have used a heel strike, and this is demonstrated in the fossil record. The next misconception I want to discuss is the one that we should slightly lean forward so we can place the weight of the foot directly under our center of gravity when we're walking. This actually makes no sense whatsoever unless you're running. When you're running, you're going to have 2 feet off the ground at the same time, so you can logically land with your foot under your body weight. So when we're walking, we always have 2 feet on the ground when we place the forward foot. So it's not possible to have your center of gravity over your rear foot and over your front foot when it places, unless you are leaning forward. When you lean forward, there is no way to have proper posture. Nobody thinks that it's proper to bend over at the waist when we're walking. So it doesn't make any logical sense to think we can lean forward and place with our weight underneath the forward foot, or weight over the forward foot, without leaning forward, because our rear foot's going to be on the ground at the same time. So this is what it would look like. We're not riding on a Segway or a ski slope where we can walk like this. We have to pick up our feet and put our feet down. So once you lean forward even the slightest amount to try to step, as soon as you put your foot down, your spine posture is going to break at the pelvis. So if people say, and they say it all the time, go ahead and lean forward a little bit to start walking, that's going to be the result. Pitched forward posture. Now you can see this with people walking around. They're usually very elderly, walking like that. You will not see very many young, healthy people walking with their spine pitched forward. It is not correct, obviously. And so we cannot lean forward and walk without breaking the posture. What happens is people read books about running technique with midfoot strike running, forefoot strike running, and then they extrapolate that to walking without any rational thought behind it. When we are running, again, both feet are off the ground at the same time, so we can come down with our center of gravity over the leg. The final mischaracterization I'm going to talk about is that there is no such thing as a heel-to-toe roll when we're walking. When people talk about heel strike walking, we often talk about the roll from heel to toe. And so forefoot proponents will say that because the foot is a flat, rigid structure, that it can't roll, all it can do is slap down. And so this is also a mischaracterization. Now obviously the foot is not a ball, so it does not roll like a ball, but nor does it just slap down like a piece of wood. Our foot has a flexible structure to it, and we also are using multiple parts of our body to lower the foot. Now, incorrect walking technique when people lean forward will lead to the foot slapping on the ground. It's not because of the heel strike, it's because of the forward lean that some people use, and that is what's creating problems with heel strike. When we walk using our core, we place and we gradually change the weight by using our lower abs to tuck, and that's pulling the body forward onto the foot. The speed that the foot lowers is going to be proportional to the speed of the lower ab contraction. The faster I contract, the faster the forefoot will come down. The slower I contract, the slower the forefoot will come down. And we're also using our gluteus medius muscle to bring the hip in. If we don't use our gluteus medius, the hip will pop out this way. So the gluteus medius, as we change weight, is gradually pulling the hip in and causing weight to change this way on the foot. At the same time, our lower abs are turning out, bringing the foot from the inside to the outside. And so we have multiple muscles working in conjunction with each other to bring the foot down and control the way the foot comes down as we shift the weight onto it. And so it is not a foot slap. If I walk around, normally you will not hear a slapping sound as my heel hits and then my forefoot comes down to the ground. If, however, I start to lean forward, you'll hear a much louder heel strike happening. That's because of the lean. Let me demonstrate again. This is the sound of a forward lean. This is the sound of normal walking. So you see there is a huge difference between proper heel striking and improper heel striking. And so people, and there are a significant number of people out there that are improper heel striking, they're the ones that are leading to this incorrect conclusion that heel strike is wrong. So I implore you, if you are a heavy heel striker, to work on the way you're doing it, and that's going to improve your own health so you don't end up with injuries to your foot, knee, hips, or back. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber, and click on the bell to get notifications for my future videos. Thank you so much for watching.